My name is Emma Frid, and I'm presenting the work Haptic Music Players for Children with Profound and Multiple Learning Disabilities. This paper explores the topic of musical haptics, which is an emerging interdisciplinary field focused on investigating experiences of touch and proprioception in music scenarios. The presented work is part of a larger study on customization and evaluation of accessible multisensory music experiences with preverbal children. Our study focuses on so-called haptic music players, or HMPs. HMPs are devices that can process an audio signal to extract musical information and translate the information into a vibratory signal. Haptic signals passed through an HMP system are put in contact with the person's skin and body to enrich music activities. Cross-modal mapping techniques, which involve identifying sound descriptors to be mapped to properties of vibrotactile feedback, can be used to translate elements of music into coherent haptic signals. In this paper, we present a 6-month study exploring different haptic music players for preverbal children with profound and multiple learning disabilities, PMLD. Children that are preverbal do not yet have verbal communication skills. The term PMLD is commonly used to describe a person with severe learning disabilities who most likely has other complex disabilities and health conditions, although there is no single, universally agreed definition of this term. Musical haptics may facilitate access to music for persons affected by somatosensory, visual, and hearing impairments. Previous research focused on the real role of music for children with PMLD has emphasized the importance of music education and musical play. The positive role of music for young people with PMLD has been stressed, for example in contexts where music is used for enjoyment, to support mood regulation, and to add structure to the lives of these children. But even if there are potential benefits of multisensory experiences for people with profound and multiple disabilities, few studies have yet explored design solutions that make use of musical haptics for children with PMLD. The aim of this study was to explore design considerations for haptic music players for a group of children with profound and multiple learning disabilities. More specifically, the purpose was to allow for exploration of musical haptics using customized devices that could be tested by the students in a safe and familiar environment, without leaving the educational setting of the school. Our study revolves around a long-term collaboration with the teacher and a student group at the school Dibberullen. Dibberullen is a special needs education school in Sweden for students with intellectual challenges and multifunctional physical challenges. All of our work was carried out during the COVID-19 pandemic. This greatly affected the choice of methods, as well as the extent to which we could interact with the student group. Social distancing measures were required to ensure the safety of these children. Since they are a risk group, we could not meet them physically. The HMPs were therefore tested with the help from the teacher and teaching assistants at the school in the wild. We collaborated with the student group consisting of 4 children. The students are mostly preverbal, they have multifunctional physical challenges, use wheelchairs, and have moderate to severe intellectual challenges. To inform the design of the HMPs, we first organized a meeting with the teacher who worked with the music and dance classes at the school. In this meeting, we demonstrated the use of 2 haptic devices, the Humu augmented audio cushion and the Woodger strap edge. The teacher got to test the 2 devices, and we discussed how HMPs should be designed to work well for the students. This meeting informed our design process and provided a set of design constraints. Since the students have limited movement and limited fine motor control, it was important that the HMPs would be robust and durable. We wanted to make sure that all devices could be thrown to the floor without breaking. Also, the HMPs should invite to touch. We came to the conclusion that the Humu augmented audio cushion could be used without any modification, since it already fulfilled the design requirements. But since this device motivates you to lie down on it, resting your head, we also wanted to introduce other modes of interaction. For this purpose, we put together 2 other HMPs, one device that was embedded into plush toy backpack, which you could wear on your back, and one custom-built plush toy with a built-in speaker and tactile shaker that you can hold in your hands. The teacher had 6 months to test the HMPs with the students. Each HMP was tested a minimum of 2 times. The teacher decided which music that would be played during these evaluation sessions and filmed the interactions taking place. In order to communicate with the students about their experiences, a tool called POD was used. POD stands for Pragmatic Organization Dynamic Display, and it's a picture-based tool. The teachers and teaching assistants use Pod to ask what the students liked versus disliked about respective device, and with which part of the body that they wanted to feel the vibrations. We watched the recorded videos from these evaluation sessions, taking notes of the interaction taking place, as well as the pod discussions. We then carried out 3 semi-structured interviews with the responsible teacher to discuss what was observed during the evaluation sessions. The first HMP that was evaluated was the Humu Augmented Audio Cushion. This cushion has an embedded vibrating soundbar assembly with a sound and vibration frequency response of 20 to 20,000 Hz. The second HMP was a Woodger strap edge that was embedded into a plush toy backpack connected to headphones. The Woodger strap edge consists of a haptic device which is put in contact with the skin. The device delivers polyphonic vibrations that can reproduce frequencies up to 200 Hz, including subsonic frequencies below the threshold of human hearing in the range 1 to 20 Hz. The evaluation sessions revealed that the first version of HMP2 was not the best in terms of usability, so we made a new version, embedding a small speaker into the backpack instead of connecting the Woodger strap edge to external headphones. The construction of HMP3 was the most time-consuming since it was built from scratch. A lot of time was spent on finding ways to embed cables in a robust way so that they could be pulled out without breaking the entire device. The final design of HMP3 reminded a bit of the character Chewbacca from Star Wars. HMP3 included 1 shaker and 1 speaker membrane. The embedded speaker had a frequency range of 200 to 20,000 Hz, and the tactile shaker has a frequency response of 20 to 80 Hz. The device was connected to a small Class D amplifier using 5-meter-long cables. This allowed the HMP to be moved freely in the room while at the same time keeping the amplifier with all its cables and buttons far away from the students. After the evaluation sessions, we carried out 3 interviews with the responsible teacher. The interviews started with general questions focusing on the music used when testing, how many times the HMPs were used and the time spent exploring each one of them, which HMP that was most or least preferred by the students, and the balance between the sounds that you could hear versus the ones that you could feel. This was followed by questions focused on 3 different themes: functionality, accessibility, and user experience. The evaluation interviews revealed that the students managed to successfully explore musical haptics using HMP1, HMP3, and the second iteration of HMP2. The students actively engaged with the HMPs using different modes of listening, both individually and as a group. When interacting as a group, the devices were usually placed on a wooden table and passed around. This enabled you to feel the vibrations through the table surface. The average time spent exploring the HMPs was 10 minutes. A range of different sounds were used when testing. Music that we had sent to the teacher for testing purposes, children's music, other music that the teacher knew that the students liked, and instrumental sounds as well as animal sounds. Common themes that were identified through content analysis were different strategies for exploration of the HMPs, the novelty of musical haptics, and elements of play. When it comes to HMP1, the students used their hands, they hugged it, they clapped or patted it, they laid their head on it, and they used their feet and mouth to explore it. HMP1 was quick to set up and reliable, since it used Bluetooth, and it could also easily be used by 2 students because of its size. However, its visual and tactile properties made it a bit less interesting compared to other HMPs. HMP2 was mostly explored using the hands. In the first iteration, there were issues with the headphones, but also the second iteration of the HMP appeared to be not so intuitive to the students, and overall, they were mildly impressed by this device. Finally, HMP3 was explored using the hands, the face, and the feet, and it was also held in the lab. It had a bit more complicated setup that required it to be connected to an amplifier, but it still worked well despite this. Overall, the HMP appeared to be more intuitive compared to the other devices. An advantage of this HMP, as voiced by the teacher, was that it could be used on the stomach and the feet since it was rather small in size. The HMP also invited to play. For example, one student was particularly intrigued by the hair-like texture of the textile. To conclude, in this paper we present a 6-month exploratory study on the evaluation of 3 haptic music players with 4 pre-verbal children with profound and multiple learning disabilities. The HMPs encouraged exploration of haptic music through different means of interaction. Findings from evaluation sessions revealed that the students managed to actively engage with the HMPs using different modes of listening, both individually and as a group. The dominating strategy when interacting with the HMPs was to explore the devices using the hands. This allowed the children to easily remove the point of contact or to push away the HMPs if they did not like the haptic sensations. The three HMPs greatly differed in terms of their functionality, accessibility, and user experience. Our findings highlight the need for extra time to get used to HMPs, since this type of musical interaction can be completely new for many children. The physical affordances and touch and feel of the objects are important in this context, since this might influence how well the HMPs are received by the children. The design of HMPs for children should ideally invite to touch and play. For experimentation with HMPs in school settings, it might be good to provide several devices of different sizes which can be used both in single and collaborative settings. One example of a design solution that allows for multiple users to perceive vibrations simultaneously is a haptic table, or a haptic device that could be attached to such furniture. Finally, it is crucial that HMPs used in the wild are easy to set up, have proper documentation with troubleshooting sections, and that the HMPs used in special education settings are demonstrated in person before the first use.